Tonight on CTV News, sentencing for a killer.
I'm relieved. It's the first sign of any sort of remorse whatsoever.
Emotional hearing. The family of a young Abbotsford mother stabbed to death demands justice. How much time her killer could spend behind bars.
These medications only land in the hands of those people for whom they are intended.
Changes to how people can use safe supply drugs. What's being done to prevent them from being resold on the streets. And the woman charged with sneaking into the NICU to hold other people's babies appears in court. How health officials are responding to the troubling incident.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Her violent death 8 years ago left 2 children without a mother. It was an emotionally wrenching day for the family of Chelsea Gauthier as they watched her killer in court. The 70-year-old man cried as victim impact statements were read out at his sentencing hearing. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has our top story.
7-year-old Gary Loesch, still out on bail, covers his face Tuesday as he leaves court. In July, he was found guilty of manslaughter and indignity to human remains in the stabbing death of 22-year-old Chelsea Gauthier. She left behind 2 young children.
They're amazing, and she should be here to see that. And they should get that chance to see her.
Gauthier was killed in 2017. Her body was found in a remote forested area near Mission after agreeing to help Loesch tend to his outdoor marijuana grow operation.
I grew on the whole mountain. I grew across the creek at the top.
In police videos obtained through court by CTV News, Loesch repeatedly denied any involvement in her death.
Like, what do you think happened to her when she was up there?
I have no idea. I don't know. I can't say. I don't know.
He was finally charged 3 years ago. On Tuesday, 11 gut-wrenching victim impact statements were read in court. Loesch cried through some of them.
I don't buy it. I honestly think it's an act, and I just don't buy it whatsoever.
I'm relieved. It's the first sign of any sort of remorse whatsoever. And if it was genuine, maybe he understands what he's done now.
She says she looked him in the eye as she talked about Chelsea.
He's a coward. He's an old coward because he couldn't look back.
Family and friends say Gauthier was a caring mom and they were hoping for justice.
To have justice in the court systems, we'll see how it goes. We don't know really what's going to happen.
Ironically, Loesch also told investigators he hoped there would be justice in Chelsea's killing.
Because it's horrible. That's all I can say.
Crown is asking for a sentence of 12 years for manslaughter and 2 years for indignity to human remains. Defense will make its submissions on Wednesday. Michelle Bernaro, CTV News, Abbotsford.
After pressure from the opposition, the NDP is tightening the rules about how people can take safe supply drugs. They must be taken under witness supervision. It's away from keeping the prescribed drugs from being resold on the streets. But some critics say the new rules could put lives at risk. CTV's Rob Buffum reports.
The same day, the coroner confirmed 150 people died from toxic drug overdoses in BC in October. The province flushed out details of its next step in battling the crisis.
Helping to separate people from the illicit drug supply.
By the end of the month, with limited exceptions, British Columbians using safer supply will have to consume the prescribed alternative to street drugs in front of a pharmacist or nurse.
It's so important to make sure that these medications only land in the hands of those people for whom they are intended.
In February, the province announced the change. At that time, it required new patients in the program to consume their safer supply in front of a witness. Today's announcement expands that requirement to existing users. The changes were triggered by a leaked memo confirming widespread trafficking of the prescribed drugs. Use of safer supply has dropped since February.
The risk posed by diversion has been significant. It has put funds into the hands of gangs and cartels, drug dealers.
BC Conservative MLA Claire Rattay is a recovered addict. She doesn't support safer supply, favoring the resources be spent on treatment expansion.
Back when I was struggling with drug addiction, back when I was homeless,
If the government was going to pay for my drugs and provide them to me for free, I probably wouldn't be standing before you right now.
But she says if the prescribed alternatives are being provided, the witness component is valuable.
To ensure that, the drugs aren't getting into the wrong hands.
But not all advocates fully support today's news. Some worry the witness component will force certain users to take the more deadly street drugs.
When we put more barriers in place for people who are struggling, it makes it harder for them to even want to access the service.
The province says there will be a few exemptions who don't need witnesses, including in rural areas where a pharmacy isn't open every day, as it rolls out its latest plan to combat a health emergency first declared 9 years ago that's claimed more than 16,000 lives.
Rob joins us live from Victoria. And Rob, what can you tell us about the allegations of criminal wrongdoing by pharmacies raised back in February?
Well, that's right, Mei Jung. When this plan was originally announced back in February, the province did say that there was multiple what they called bad actor pharmacies that allegedly were selling safer supply to people who did not have a prescription in order for the pharmacy to get a kickback. That investigation is still ongoing, so we should find out soon. Mei Jung.
Thank you, Rob. A joint strike force involving more than 100 police agencies across the country has taken thousands of kilos of illicit drugs off the streets. As CTV's Ben Milger reports, RCMP say most of the drugs were found in Ontario and Quebec, but there was one substance in particular where BC led the way.
RCMP tout a coordinated effort between federal, provincial, and municipal law enforcement agencies for what it hails as a significant blow to organized crime and narcotics trafficking. In an initiative dubbed the National Fentanyl Sprint 2.0, police say they seized 386 kilos of fentanyl, 1,700 kilos of meth, and close to 6,000 kilos of cocaine.
The sprint was more than a success. It was a blueprint for the future. We demonstrated what's possible when law enforcement agencies collaborate, combining intelligence, resources, and resolve.
Police also seized $13.46 million. Most of the drugs were seized in Quebec and Ontario, with one exception. 51% of the meth was found here in BC, where 14 different police agencies took part.
Certainly there's some big players here and there's some smaller departments, but it's a real shining example of the feds, the provinces, and municipal agencies all working together and doing what they can to try and make a dent.
I applaud that they're trying to get this stuff off the streets.
In November 2024, Karen and Greg Dunlap's 16-year-old son Tyler died of a fentanyl overdose in Vancouver. The couple would like police to go after the street dealers targeting teens.
There's no enforcement of the people that are actually out there selling this to our kids for $5 or $10 or something, the police turn a complete blind eye.
RCMP say more than 8,000 charges have been laid in connection to the operation, but have not named any suspects or any of the criminal organizations involved. At least one of the handout photos is from a drug lab bust near Vernon last year, 6 months before police say this campaign began. RCMP did not make anyone available to answer questions in Ottawa or BC. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
A former finance clerk for the city of Surrey had her first court appearance today. 40-year-old Sunny Catlin is accused of stealing millions of dollars of taxpayers' money and faces several fraud-related charges. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has more.
Sunny Catlin was not in attendance here at Surrey Provincial Court Tuesday for her initial appearance. Instead, her lawyer appeared on her behalf. Catlin is facing 4 charges stemming from her time as the city's finance clerk. The charges include fraud or breach of trust in public office, fraud over $5,000, theft over $5,000, and forgery. Police say Catlin is accused of accessing city financial systems and creating fraudulent documents and checks for her own personal benefit. The city publicly disclosed allegations of $2.5 million in irregular transactions earlier this year, saying it had filed a civil lawsuit against a former employee who was not named at the time. The city manager said the lawsuit was filed in 2024 after staff identified problems dating back to 2017 involving dormant development deposit accounts. The allegations against Catlin have not been proven in court. The case has been adjourned until the new year. Catlin is scheduled to be back in court on January 6th. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Surrey.
The long ordeal for the family of murdered 15-year-old Alfred Wong may not be over. Last night, a jury convicted Kane Carter on 2 counts of second-degree murder, but his defense lawyer says they're considering an appeal. It was the second time the 29-year-old was on trial for the fatal shootings of Alfred Wong and 23-year-old Kevin Whiteside in January of 2018. The jury found him guilty on both counts as charged. Alfred was killed by a stray bullet while his family was driving down Broadway just west of Maine. The jury declined to recommend when Carter should be eligible for parole. The woman accused of sneaking into the NICU at Surrey Memorial Hospital and making skin-to-skin contact with 3 infants was back in court today. 35-year-old Lindsay Hurtrider is charged with 3 counts of assault. According to police, she went into the unit on October 28th, removed her shirt, and held 3 babies. She was later removed by hospital security. Fraser Health is apologizing for the distress caused to the families and says it is enhancing security. But a patient advocacy group says everyone in the hospital needs to feel empowered to call security if someone looks suspicious.
Even if you had a security guard at every single nursing unit in the hospital, would they know who looks like they are supposed to be there or not? I think that it really does need to be a top to bottom kind of system.
I'll direct you to Fraser Health to talk about the specific changes that they'll have made in their security policies. They know, and it's my expectation, I've always been very clear with them, that they will learn from any situation like this that happens.
Hurtrider remains in custody. The case has been adjourned until Monday. In 2016, Hurtrider pleaded guilty to animal cruelty after she stabbed and tortured a dog that had wandered from its home. Vancouver police are warning residents to be on high alert after seeing a spike in distraction thefts across the city's east side. The VPD says there were 20 distraction thefts in November, with 16 of those happening on the east side. That's a 122% increase from the same time last year. The thefts usually involve suspects approaching victims in public spaces and distracting them by offering items such as jewelry while simultaneously removing the victim's valuables undetected. Police say the victims are often seniors, and they're urging people to protect their personal space while keeping valuables concealed under clothing. These Ladner grandparents are appealing to the federal government to allow their 5-year-old adopted granddaughter to visit for Christmas. Just ahead, why the little girl's travel visa applications are being denied. But first, let's take a look outside. A live shot of Canada Place at 6:12. And the city looks really pretty right now with all these lights, but it was definitely a chilly one.
It was chilly, and we had some sunshine today, so hope you're able to get outside and enjoy it. Here's a look at temperatures across the lower mainland right now. We're looking at 6 degrees at the harbor, cooler in Burnaby at 4 degrees, and Pitt Meadows also sitting at 4. Out east in the valley, 5 degrees for Chilliwack, 6 for Abbotsford. As we head through the overnight, we'll continue to see overcast skies. A patchy fog will develop through the overnight hours, dropping down to a cool 2. Into tomorrow, cloudy skies with a high of 6 with a slight chance of a shower or 2.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next vacation by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
And then you're going to need to trade off your sunglasses for umbrellas for a little bit now. Those details coming up.
Yeah, I was happy to dig out my sunglasses
very
today.
Nice today.
All right, thanks, Ann. A Ladner grandmother and grandfather are making a last-ditch appeal to the federal government to let their 5-year-old granddaughter visit for the Christmas holidays. Their BC-born son has tried for months to get a visitor's visa for the little girl he and his wife legally adopted in Africa. But the application keeps getting rejected. CTV's Shannon Patterson has the story.
What else have we got? Oh, beads.
Jeff and Liz Bruce bought plenty of gifts for their 5-year-old granddaughter Chloe to open at their Ladner home on Christmas Day.
Those are headbands we bought for her. She's very girly.
Chloe was adopted in March by the Bruce's son Michael and his wife, who live in Africa with their 8-year-old biological son.
So he tells Chloe, we're going to Grandma's for Christmas, Grandma and Grandpa's for Christmas. So it was a big deal.
She's never been to Grandma and Grandpa's house for Christmas. She's never seen the decorations. She's never seen snow. And so the plan was for her to come back and for us to have a couple of weeks there.
Chloe's father first applied for a Canadian travel visa for his daughter in the spring.
The first answer that they gave us was that Chloe didn't have sufficient assets to support her stay. Now, I'm not sure exactly what assets a 5-year-old is expected to have, but they said that they were not convinced that she would return at the end of her stay.
Yeah, she's going home. She has parents. She lives in Nairobi. She has a home there. She goes to school there. This is a vacation.
Chloe's dad applied a second time and received a second rejection letter addressed to his daughter.
And when the second letter came through that said there's no indication of the connection between yourself and your adoptive parents. Are you kidding?
We were shocked. We were very surprised. And then we were kind of angry, to be honest, and we don't understand. We don't understand why this is happening.
The desperate grandparents reached out to local politicians.
There is nobody we haven't contacted. I mean, I wrote to the Prime Minister.
But all Chloe's parents could do is try a third time.
This is Chloe's stocking.
3 weeks before Christmas, that application is still being processed.
We've provided all of the government paperwork to demonstrate we have legally adopted her. It doesn't, at this point, make any sense. Why can't we just get a visa for her to come and visit?
If Chloe can't come to Canada, her family will spend Christmas in Africa, which breaks these grandparents' hearts.
We're quite at a loss this Christmas. We don't quite know what to do with ourselves, but we're still hopeful. Miracles happen.
Her message to the Canadian government?
We just want her to come home for Christmas, that's all. We're not asking her to live here yet. We just want her home for Christmas. Please let her go home for Christmas.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Ladner.
A green light has been given to a class action lawsuit against CP and CN Railways over the catastrophic Lytton fire. Also ahead.
It's a story of poor planning. It's a story of it's just convenient to kick this problem down the road.
Digging deeper into why thousands of people in BC don't have a family doctor. We actually do have more physicians than before, so what's the problem? When CTV News at 6 continues. Stay with us. A BC Supreme Court judge has certified a class action lawsuit against both CN and CP Rail over the devastating 2021 fire that destroyed much of Lytton. The ruling says there is some basis, in fact, that the blaze may have been caused by railway operations. The lawsuit represents First Nations and residents who suffered losses, including 2 people who died in the fire. The doctor shortage is a myth, according to a provocative new report by a UBC researcher. He says BC has more doctors per capita now than we did 50 years ago. And it's time that wealthy baby boomers pitched in to help fix the situation. Our Penny Daflos explains.
It's a common complaint that British Columbians face long waits seeing a doctor, but the statistics are clear.
We have more than ever.
A Generation Squeeze analysis found that not only do BC seniors make up twice as much of the population than they did in the 1970s, they're also living longer, putting more costs and demand on the healthcare system.
It's a story of poor planning. It's a story of it's just convenient to kick this problem down the road. The problem is we're now down the road, and it is a massive problem.
Doctors used to endure crushing work weeks at their offices and hospitals, often supported by a stay-at-home spouse. Now, work-life balance is a major priority, and many doctors are turning down shifts offering hefty pay if it means working short-staffed and risking the quality of care.
Makes us inefficient, and hence the waits increase, the frustration level increases.
Kershaw is promoting the idea of wealthy baby boomers paying more now since they weren't taxed towards supporting their future care during their working years.
Boomers didn't fully prepay for what they want to use. As a result, right now, the cost of that care is being left for their kids and grandchildren in the form of larger deficits, but also much less urgent spending on their education, their post-secondary, their childcare, their housing.
He also suggests doctors should be incentivized to take on more shifts.
I wouldn't recommend trying to push physicians to work more because they're already working, 120%.
The doctors of BC say the era of an 80-hour work week was unhealthy and unsustainable. They also point out the practice of medicine has changed.
While the complexity of the medical issues has increased, the complexity of the diagnosis and the imaging and the lab work that we can do now is much more complex as well.
Making it difficult to compare physicians to population statistics from half a century ago. One thing everyone can agree on:
consumption of medical care is so much greater than we've ever experienced before.
Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
As more people struggle to put food on the table, more food is also going to waste. Now a group of charitable organizations is hoping to change that. The Vancouver Food Recovery Network officially launched today, and as CTV's Dimitra Maragos reports, it has a simple goal.
A new network of charitable organizations is locking in on combating food insecurity in Metro Vancouver.
We are thrilled to announce publicly the Vancouver Food Recovery Network.
Solidified through a grant from the City of Vancouver, VFRN brings together Food Stash Foundation, Vancouver Food Runners, City Reach Care Society, and Quest nonprofit grocery markets.
We hope to serve more people that are in need.
VFRN says the amount of food waste is bananas. Their data shows 46% of food produced in Canada is going to waste, while 1 in 4 households struggles to afford groceries.
This problem of food going to waste and this problem of hunger that are both so real and evident, we want to be the bridge between those two.
So they help by cutting back. Together, VFRN diverts close to 5 million pounds of food each year by taking donations from grocery stores, restaurants, and other avenues. The Vancouver Food Recovery Network is set to serve 60,000 people per week, and those involved say recipients of these boxes aren't just unboxing food, they're also unboxing stability.
We serve truly all people from all backgrounds as they come forward with this need of food access.
Fresh food is distributed throughout the region. Something Simon So has been doing with City Reach Care Society for 5 years.
We all are fully committed to this cause.
So says this new chapter allows for broader impacts.
By providing this network, we have a robust system that we can continue to support them.
McManus says this network has far-reaching goals.
Through our advocacy and combined efforts, that we could actually create systemic change to make food more affordable so people can have that access on their own and in their own communities.
Dimitra Maragos, CTV News, Vancouver.
For Giving Tuesday, United Way BC is leading a campaign to deliver winter survival kits to vulnerable children and youth.
Here you'll see that people coming together, building community, creating these kits for the children across the province of BC to let them know that, you know what, other people are thinking about you and you're not alone.
Volunteers with the Bank of Montreal helped pack 160 kits this morning. They contain everything from toques and scarves to coloring books and gift cards. United Way says the kits will be distributed through its Schools Out program, which provides free child care and youth services across BC. A devastating blow for a Vancouver Island town. A mill providing 350 jobs is being shut permanently. Also ahead.
I can clearly hear my bomb is cracked.
This Metro Vancouver man knows firsthand the dangers of climbing a ladder. A warning to the public this holiday season. That's ahead. Vancouver police are investigating a multi-vehicle crash on Boundary Road at Southeast Marine Drive. It happened around 10:20 this morning and involved 6 vehicles, including a dump truck. 2 drivers were taken to hospital as a precaution. Crews are still on scene clearing debris. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. Ahead of Prime Minister Mark Carney's address to the Assembly of First Nations, chiefs unanimously passed an emergency resolution to demand a withdrawal of the recent pipeline deal between Ottawa and Alberta. The motion would uphold the oil tanker ban off BC's coast and call to scrap the MOU with Alberta that sets the stage for a new pipeline. BC's regional chief went to Ottawa with the message that First Nations need to be consulted about development on their territory.
It's bad enough First Nations don't trust the government, and this makes it even worse. Not about us, without us, and that is a rounding message, I think, not only with the resolution, but with all our concerns in regards to Bill C-5.
Officials add that a proposed pipeline is a threat to many people's livelihoods. The town of Crofton on Vancouver Island is facing a major blow tonight. Its mill is set to permanently shut down, leaving hundreds of workers out of a job. The mill's owner, Domtar, announced today that 350 employees will be impacted as it shutters the pulp operation. The company says poor pricing for pulp and a lack of fiber in BC led to the closure. Domtar says it's exploring a number of options for the future of the massive waterfront mill site. Although the mill will close on December 15th, the company says work at the site will keep staff employed until at least February. An unsanctioned event at the University of Victoria, put on by a small group of residential school deniers, was drowned out by an overwhelming show of support for survivors. The crowd gathered below the university's survivors flag ahead of the unsanctioned event involving one BC leader, Dallas Brody, and two others who have openly questioned the suspected unmarked graves on the grounds of a former residential school in Kamloops.
There were no bodies found in Kamloops, and there haven't been any. And actually, our party, 1BC, has done a documentary, which you might want to watch.
This isn't a counter-protest. We're not here for people who would deny these truths. We're here for each other. We're here for survivors, and we're here to affirm in a positive way.
Brody and her supporters were asked to leave the campus. Students say they hope their attendance speaks louder than any words of doubt. Home sales in Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley fell again last month. Prices continue to slide as well. Also ahead. Turbulence for a teddy bear that was part of a school science experiment. It was launched into the sky in a weather balloon. Now it's missing in action. That's ahead. Safety advocates are reminding everyone to be careful when putting up Christmas decorations, especially when using a ladder. Nearly 500 people in BC end up in hospitals every year, and experts say it can be prevented. Here's CTV's Sinjan Alexander with some timely advice.
This is one of the most memorable scenes from Christmas Vacation, likely because the audience can relate. In the rush to get it all done, it's never as easy as it looks.
I push the stuff, then I fell down with the ladders. Yeah.
Now, of course, when someone falls in real life, it's not funny. Just ask Alan Wang. On a ladder, loading parcels, he suddenly tipped back and broke both wrists.
I can clearly hear my bomb is cracked.
That's why WorkSafe and Preventable Injuries have teamed up. Whether putting up lights or on the job, make sure you're using the right ladder and using it properly.
Are there overhead power lines where you'll be working? Is the surface flat? Is it icy? Is it slippery? So that might be an icy substrate if you're in northern BC or in the Kootenays or anywhere in the province where it's icy right now.
Inspect the equipment. Is it in good shape? Check the markings. Can it handle the weight? And when climbing, maintain 3 points of contact.
2 feet and 1 hand, or 2 hands, 1 feet.
Last year, WorkSafe dealt with 876 ladder claims. More than 300 were especially serious. Wang's advice? Take your time and make a plan.
You need a helper. You cannot do it by yourself. Most of people, they just doing by themselves. They think it's very easy. Put the ladders here, climb there, then doing decoration. It's not good.
And of course, make sure the weather is good and there's plenty of light. Their final piece of advice? Ask yourself, do you really need a ladder? Or is there a safer way to finish your festive masterpiece? St. John Alexander, CTV News, Richmond.
A school in England is asking for the public's help tracking down a teddy bear that was sent into the stratosphere as part of a science experiment. The stuffed animal, nicknamed Bradford Bear, was launched into the sky on a weather balloon by students at Walhampton School in southern England. A camera on board the balloon captured the bear soaring nearly 27 kilometers off the ground before turbulence eventually knocked it loose, sending it plunging back down. Oh, the balloon and its tracker were recovered, but the teddy bear, Anne, has yet to be found. It is still missing. Poor Teddy.
Yeah, Bradford.
Yeah, Bradford. But, you know, the mistake was they didn't put a life jacket on him.
Yeah,
I mean, he could be like on a river and floating on the river.
Yeah, that's
and then they find him.
You should have been part of that experiment, Mijang.
But pretty cool that they could do that kind of experiment.
Yeah, and they have video for it,
yeah,
too.
amazing. Hopefully they find Bradford.
Yeah, poor little guy. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. Today, although we saw seasonal temperatures, the hotspot was in British Columbia. Port Hardy saw a high of 10 degrees. They dipped down to 5.8 through the overnight. Close, but not close enough to the records set back in 1958 at 13.9 degrees. We do have a ridge of high pressure that'll keep most of the lower mainland dry as we head into tomorrow towards the northwest corner of the province. Front moving its way in, bringing in some wet weather. So as you can see on our weather tracker, already seeing some rain for the north coast through the overnight. It drops down to the central coast and into tomorrow morning. For your morning commute, the west coast as well as north of Vancouver Island will see some rain. It'll continue through the afternoon hours. Widespread rain pretty much across the board for Vancouver Island through the evening hours, and that's when we can see some showers as well. You'll see a mix of sun and cloud for the northeast corner of the province. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. So pretty soggy for Port Hardy tomorrow with a high of 6 degrees. You'll see afternoon showers for Campbell River and Comox with a high of 6. Soggy for the South Island for Tofino. 8 degrees with a few scattered showers for Port Alberni. Afternoon showers for Nanaimo. It does stay dry for the southern Gulf Islands, and you'll see rain return for Victoria. 7 degrees in the afternoon. Showers for the Sunshine Coast and 6. Soggy up the Sea to Sky Highway for Squamish at 5 degrees, and it'll stay dry with some sunny breaks for Whistler at 2 and for us across the lower mainland. Cloudy skies for the most part. Temperatures between 5 and 6 with a slight chance of a shower. Heading into Thursday, we will see cloudy skies with a few showers, and it pretty much stays wet for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We'll start off dry. Rain returns in the afternoon, continuing to Tuesday morning before it dries up, warming up to 10 degrees. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. Well, this week, CTV is kicking off the holiday with our favorite event, Toy Mountain. Join us this Thursday and Friday at Guildford Town Centre as we collect new unwrapped toys and donations in support of the Lower Mainland Christmas Bureau. Or you can donate online at ctvvancouver.ca. Let's build a mountain and put smiles on a whole lot of faces for the holidays. Toy Mountain is made possible by our friends at Alpine Credits, Applewood Auto Group, and Triple O's. So I'll be there both days, and I hope I see a lot of people help create our mountain.
Yeah, it's always amazing how big that toy mountain gets, and there's bikes coming in.
Teddy bears galore, so many things.
Remember that year you were driving the little car?
Yeah, I fit in it.
Yeah, that was huge.
That was fun. Hopefully there's more cars for me this year.
All right, thanks, Sam. Home sales are ending the year on a whimper. Prices keep softening in a market where buyers remain on the sidelines. Ahead.
Brittle wire, water, and corrosion. Those are the biggest culprits.
Winter can be hard on holiday lights, when they can be fixed, and when it's time to actually buy new ones. That's ahead on CTV News. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 71 cents to the American dollar. It's holding steady. Oil was down 68 cents, closing the day at $58.64 a barrel. Gold lost $54 on the day. The TSX closed lower, down 52 points. The Dow Jones made gains, up 185 points. After rising in October, home sales across the Lower Mainland cooled in November, according to the latest numbers. The data released this morning from the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board shows sales were down 16% from October and 17% year over year. The board says affordability is a main reason for the decline. Metro Vancouver is also seeing a drop in sales, with just over 1,800 last month, down 4% year over year. The benchmark price for all residential properties was down 3.9% from a year ago. Condo prices fell even more, down 5.2% from last year. It's the time of year when many people put up Christmas lights to make their homes more festive, but outdoor lights don't always last as long as we expect, especially in winter weather. CTV's Pat Foran looks at why they fail and shares some tips on how to extend their life.
Some homes are already decked out for the holidays, and some homeowners spare no expense to have their properties look great for the festive season.
It never seems to fail. Every year when I do my Christmas and holiday lights, there always seems to be at least one or two strings that don't work, and it's hard to know when should you fix them and when should you throw them out.
Number one rule is to make sure that you unplug things before you attempt to fix them.
Kyle Tobin of Christmas Lights Toronto says his company has been decorating homes for the past 35 years. He says, unfortunately, many holiday lights are not built to last.
The problem is that consumer lights, retail version lights, are not designed to withstand more than 1 or 2 seasons, whereas commercial grade lights are meant to be replaceable. Parts can be retrofitted so that they can be maintained to last many years.
Tobin says wet, freezing temperatures are also hard on outdoor lights.
Brittle wire, water, and corrosion. Those are the biggest culprits of things that make a light strand disposable.
If you have a strand that won't light, there are 2 fuses behind a small door on the plug. Replacing them with fuses that came with your original set or that you purchased separately could fix the problem.
If this doesn't fix it, there's a good chance you need to throw out your lights. Plug her in, and if it works, then you've probably solved the problem.
Also check bulbs for corrosion.
When this corrosion happens from moisture getting in and age, you develop something that's going to interrupt the flow of electricity.
A recap: 4 common fixes for burnt-out string lights: replace the fuses, swap burnt-out bulbs, check bulbs and the cord for damage, and if bulbs are rust-colored and the wire is brittle and frayed, recycle the lights and get a new set. Tobin says using damaged lights is not worth the fire risk, as you want to be sure you have a safe holiday season. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Stranger things ahead for Vancouver's Park Theatre as the beloved cinema gets a new lease on life. Details just ahead. Plus, caring dynamo. Adam finds out how a 4-year-old is making a super contribution to a couple at a Cowichan care home. Coming up on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's a preview of your morning Vancouver.
We are facing a new and refined cyber threat in 2026, and it's not human. Wednesday on Your Morning Vancouver, some expert insight into how artificial intelligence is changing the criminal landscape. Also, what you need to know about travel insurance before you head off on holidays and some of the alternatives available. Plus, gift ideas for the beauty lover on your list. We'll see you in the morning.
To play one last show for you here tonight.
A new trailer is out for Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, the final show, shot right here in Vancouver. The concert film features the full Tortured Poets Department set and begins streaming on Disney Plus December the 12th. This year marks the 25th anniversary of the Whistler Film Festival. Canadian entertainment icon George Stroumboulopoulos has been part of the festivities for years. He stopped by Your Morning Vancouver to talk about some of the locally made films he's most excited about, like Akashi.
It's a really beautiful way of looking at some pretty strange family drama. So I think everybody, especially as you get ready for the holidays, if you go home, you could learn a new thing about your family you didn't know was there. And so that really plays itself out. And this is a very Vancouver story too, which I think is kind of cool.
The Whistler Film Festival starts tomorrow and runs through Sunday. We now know when Vancouver's recently closed Park Theatre will reopen under new management and what will be playing on the big screen that night. The former Cineplex Theatre on Cambie posted this cryptic photo on Instagram using a quote from the show's Stranger Things to tease its reopening on December 31st. Netflix has confirmed Park Theatre is one of the locations where the show's finale will debut starting New Year's Eve. One of the show's stars, Finn Wolfhard, is among the investors who stepped in to save the theatre from closing for good this fall. There's speculation he plans to attend the opening after he commented copy on the post.
Wow.
I'm glad that they're saving that.
Yes.
We do need some theaters, right?
For sure.
And, you know, Christmas time is a time when we actually do have a little more time to go to a theater.
And usually the weather's ugly, so it's good to stay indoors.
Hunker down. Okay, well, it's a chance for artists in Vancouver to show off their bold, beautiful, and bizarre handmade wares. The Weirdos Holiday Market is returning for its 9th year. The market organizer stopped by Your Morning Vancouver to talk about it.
We started it 9 years ago thinking we were just going to do a tiny little market in one of our art studios that hadn't quite opened yet, and there was like 9 or 10 of us, and it ended up with like 2,000 people showing up, so we thought, okay, well, we've got a thing here.
The market takes place this weekend and next weekend at the Russian Hall in Vancouver. Those are really nice crafts.
Those aren't weirdos. Those are beautiful.
Maybe you have to be weirdo to go.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, we're supposed to decorate our workstation, right, at work, so maybe some inspiration there. Okay, we'll get to the Sawatsky sign-off in a moment. Craig, what's coming up tonight?
Well, Jung, we'll begin with the Canucks here. They're in action tonight, looking to get back on the winning track in Colorado. We'll have those highlights at 11:30. Also, we are tracking the fallout from a Vancouver Island pulp mill shutting down, leaving 350 people out of work. I just spoke to the mayor, and he is now scrambling to find a solution as families watch on weeks before Christmas. We'll have the reaction from the province and the BC Conservatives. Also, we will hear from the BC Pulp and Paper Coalition, who says that this was all avoidable. Our Martin McMahon will have the latest on the developments tonight at 11:30. John?
Yeah, such a big blow for a small town to lose their largest employer.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Finally, Adam meets a 4-year-old making a big impact at a seniors care home on Vancouver Island. And his superpower might just be spreading joy. On tonight's Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
Well, he's not faster than a speeding bullet, nor more powerful than a locomotive. This 4-year-old is proving to be a superhero.
Dynamo.
A super name.
Dynamo, yeah.
Whose not-so-secret identity is Innes Wright.
Are we done yet? Are we done yet?
A boy who, rather than talk about his abilities,
Let's be done, okay?
would prefer to show how he can escape the confines of a sit-down interview with ease.
Okay, bye.
But before Innes demonstrates his true power, his granny, Joan Wright, reveals the Dynamo's origin story.
So we came here and they...
While Innes attempts to fix the camera, Joan says she first brought her grandson to this care home for a friend's 80th birthday party, where the boy met Don Monroe, pushing his wife Nancy in a wheelchair.
And he just muscled me aside and says, I want to do it.
So Don let him.
Oh, I thought it was great.
Never imagining where the boy would ultimately lead them.
He bonded with her instantly. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, they certainly never expected for Innes to ask to visit again and again. And now, after almost 8 months of visiting weekly and participating in all sorts of activities with the seniors, to show his exuberance can't be contained.
And he just bursts in here and leaps into her arms. It lights up her day when he comes.
And she smiles the sort of smile that seemed so ever-present in those years since they'd vowed in sickness and in health, until a recent series of setbacks made that smile increasingly elusive. So, you can imagine how grateful Don feels, seeing the Dynamo bestowing his superpowers on his beloved Nancy.
He generates that energy and that love.
And that's the story of how young Innes revealed he was the sort of hero who could expand hearts with a single bound.
We just love him to pieces.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Duncan.
Aww. Very high energy boy and very caring. I'm sure his parents are thankful when he gets to go to the care home.
Every week.
They get a bit of a break.
Yeah.
But that age is a magical age before they get too bratty.
Yeah, he's adorable. And not all heroes wear capes, right? He's helping them for sure. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. Cloudy skies over Kelowna. Look at that. Thanks, Jane, for sending in this ominous photo. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Yeah, lovely.
Gloomy.
But December's been pretty mild. The forecast pretty mild.
Not bad, right?
All right, thanks, Anne. Craig will be back tonight for CTV News at 11:30. Thanks for sharing part of your evening with us.